This is Geoff Arbuckle.
This is Jason Oliver.
And Jason, do you know what it is that people can catch every Wednesday, each and every week?
It's not another stupid movie podcast, is it?
It's exactly another stupid movie podcast.
Oh, shoot!
You can listen to new episodes of Film Seizure every Wednesday morning starring me.
And me!
And we just sit around and talk about movies. Sometimes they're good movies. Sometimes they're bad movies. Sometimes they're someplace in between. I don't know.
Gross, ugly, delicious, funny.
All those things.
All those things.
So every Wednesday, go to filmseizure.com. You might be there right now listening to this episode that's about to start. But you can also find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at Film Seizure. So let's get started with the new episode.
Enjoy the episode.
Venice, before the year 2000. Squares, museums, and churches. Tourists crowd the streets. Venice is threatened by the high tide. The seaweed is killing the oxygen in the waters, and the putrid waters are corroding the foundations of the city. This is Venice today. What will happen tomorrow?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Film Seizure. I'm Jason Oliver.
I'm the Italian Geoff Arbuckle.
The Italian Geoff Arbuckle?
Yeah.
So you're greasy?
I'm greasy. I'm like a poor version of myself.
You're a grease ball. I'm dubbing you in a different language right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one's on me, folks.
Oh boy, it sure is.
We are going to be talking about 1989's Italian schlock horror film, Shocking Dark, a.k.a. Alienators, a.k.a. Aliens 2, a.k.a. Terminator 2. Yeah, that you got that right. This is one of those Italian horror films that was basically a cash grab ripoff of popular American horror / action films, namely in this one, Aliens and Terminator.
You know what makes me think? You know what this makes me think of? So we both worked at the video store once upon a time.
Yeah.
You remember all those straight-to-video sequels that would be made, like American Kickboxer 47?
Yeah, sure.
You know, where it's like it is no connection to the previous one. It's just it was probably a different movie that just got relabeled.
Yeah, it had a script, and
yeah.
it's like, well, the only way we're going to sell this movie is if we name it American Kickboxer 8.
Right,
yeah, right.
And so that...
Because everybody remembers American Kickboxer 7.
Right. It kind of... Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
American Ninja.
Yeah.
The Domination. I can't remember which... 5, 6.
I can't remember which two movies it is. It's two of... It's one of Cynthia Rothrock's movies, and then there's a sequel where she plays two completely different characters, but it's sequelized.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any goddamn sense. So this this
is kind of a different curiosity.
That's kind of what I'm getting to also, because in a way it's meant to sell you on the idea of Terminator 2, Aliens 2,
right,
or whatever, right? But this is also, I imagine, a middle-aged, cigar-smoking, poor-fitting suit producer guy in an office saying, hey, these movies are pretty good. Why don't you make me one of them?
Right, make me one of them.
Yeah, and it's like,
and so
it's like it's a conscripted sequel to sell in Europe.
Yeah. So I mean, we were watching the movie, and I said to Geoff, I was like, I don't even know really if you can even call this a movie. It's kind of like this it's a plagiarism, basically. I mean, there's no other way to put it. In a lot of ways, it's just straight up plagiarism. But it also has kind of got its own weird cultural spin on some of the.
I
guess it has its own story, but it's connected by by acts of blatant plagiarism,
Yeah,
specifically in James Cameron's Aliens.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, there are many movies that we make here in the United States that is taken from an idea or something else that's Japanese or French or German.
Fair.
You know, it's like, this is not
sure, it's not a new thing, but this feels like I watched Aliens and I wrote this script. Like, it is a direct connection. I mean, there are things that happen in this movie that are almost shot for shot, word for word, the movie Aliens.
right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Man.
And that's honestly why this movie is interesting to me. I mean, this is a garbage fucking movie. It's probably the worst movie we've watched on the podcast. And I can't imagine we could watch a worse one.
Wait, there was one. What was the one that we really disliked? Oh, Warlock 2.
Warlock 2 is bad.
Oh, that's bad. This is worse than that.
It's a worse movie, but I actually would rather watch this again than Warlock 2.
Well, there's enough curiosity with this movie.
That's what it is.
Okay, try to explain to me what the purpose of what this movie is about.
Okay, so here's the thing. It's Venice, Italy. We're in Venice, Italy. That's how the movie starts. There's a narrator that you never hear from again.
Right, that's always a bad sign.
Who is kind of telling you that shit has gone down in Venice, that the water of the tide is rising, for one, and then also that the seaweed in the water has destroyed the oxygen content of the water, which has made the water rancid of some sort, and it's corrupting the foundation of the buildings in Venice, and then it makes it a dead city, is what they call it. And then there is a toxic cloud that is produced above the city, and so it is now a dead city, which means that nobody lives there. They've all been evacuated, and the only real presence left in the city are scientists and military
and monsters.
Yeah,
so they
say, sure, like, that's not fucking Aliens, right? Fair enough, but
well, it's like
to tell this story, they decide they need all the elements of Aliens to do it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I mean, like
it's like I'm gonna create these characters from Aliens because they were really fun and engaging, and the way they acted and the way they reacted to things, I want that in my script. Or it was somebody who dictated and said, I want your movie to be more like this. And so it was that's what I probably think it was.
I have a feeling that Bruno Mattei,
the director of this movie,
Schlockmeister himself,
and Claudio
Fragasi
and his wife, I believe, right?
Oh yeah, they're the ones.
The writing team. They're the ones who wrote the script.
They are also famous for writing the gloriously bad Troll 2.
Troll 2, yeah.
But so
what's interesting though about this to me is that this movie, apparently, I don't know the whole story. I don't know much of the story at all, but from what I heard, Claudio Fragasso never worked with Bruno Mattei again after this movie. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, if you will. Like, and I mean, if this movie was bad enough for Claudio to not work with Bruno again, but yet still make Troll 2 some years later,
like the next year,
yeah. Like holy fucking shit, right? And if you've ever seen the documentary
Best Worst
Movie, you know that Claudio is kind of delusional.
Yeah, like he always says he has a deeper meaning for stuff that he writes, which I agree that but he is trying to write something that means something, but it is badly translated.
But I really do think that he wrote this and was ashamed of it. I think that he would admit, if you could corner him, that he committed plagiarism. He was probably forced to, maybe by Bruno or by a producer, and he was so broken by the experience that he never worked with Mattei again. Because I don't know. I mean, it's you can't truly make a movie as bad as Troll 2.
Right.
But yet this Shocking Dark is a movie you're ashamed of. There's a reason. There has to be a reason.
Well,
and I feel like the reason is he probably wasn't able to write an original script.
My guess is there was probably that first 15 minutes or so was his original script.
Yep.
We're going to do this thing where we're going to because also notice that all of their scripts have something to do with nature turning against people.
Yeah.
Troll 2, I can't believe we're actually digging this deep into fucking Troll 2. But
you have to.
Well,
you
his
can't
whole
talk about
point
Troll
was,
2 if we're going to talk about this movie. You can't
right.
not talk about Troll 2.
I mean, Claudio Fragasso says it was about, or would say that Troll 2 was all about the what's the word I'm looking for? Trespasses of man into nature.
Okay, sure.
And it was because there's plant shit, I guess. There's goblins and stuff. I mean,
Milbog.
Right.
It's
sure.
goblins spelled backward.
That movie's a piece of shit. This, I'm guessing he wrote something else that was very similar. Nature's turning against man.
Yeah.
And
but it gets
But then somebody said, "All right, we're still paying him for the script, whatever the fuck. But we're just going to go and do this thing.
We want more of this
Terminator
movie that we saw. That was really amazing."
Right. Which then also asks, that begs the question also, it's like, do you think, I mean, like, they probably weren't allowed to call it Terminator 2. I mean, the original name was Shocking Dark.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense either. But it's like, do you think that it was a thing where it's like, all right, so you can call it Shocking Dark or whatever, or if you call it Terminator 2, whatever. This isn't the first time that an Italian movie takes a sequel name either. But do you think it was just like, it's not fucking worth our time to go after these people? I mean, or what's the law there?
Well, I can tell you from what I know, this movie, until Severin put it out just a few months ago, has never had an official U.S. release. So no,
but it's been available bootleg.
It's been available bootleg for a long time. You could watch it on YouTube, but Severin was able to get a hold of the rights, distribution rights, and I guess they felt like at this point in time that there wouldn't be really a concern about copyright. They did, however, and I love this. They when they sold it online, they sold it with the Terminator 2 slipcase, which has got kind of like the generic Arnold Schwarzenegger with the sunglasses and the cyborg face cover, and they announced it that anybody who ordered the movie until they received a cease and desist would get the Terminator 2 slipcover,
which they expected to receive very quickly, which I don't know if they ever did.
I don't know if they ever received a cease and desist. I mean, they're a little under the radar. The movie is being sold as Shocking Dark on the website. It's being sold, in places where you buy movies as Shocking Dark, but the slipcase has, Terminator 2 on it, which is pretty fun. And I'm a huge fan of both of those franchises, both Terminator and Alien. And I had heard about this movie several years ago and was really intrigued by it. The fact that somebody could almost make way it had been described to me as almost like a shot-for-shot remake of Aliens.
Only for a certain point.
But it's not quite that. Right. Yeah, it's not quite that. And I'd watched parts of it on YouTube, but I hadn't really taken the plunge, if you will. But then when I saw that Severin was doing an official release, and they did it looks as good as a movie like this should ever hope to look. And they released it, and they gave it a really loving release, which is funny. And I had to buy it. Like when I saw Geoff, he messaged me. He's like, "Oh my God, Severin's releasing Zombie 3 and 4," and I was like, "Fuck that! They're releasing Shocking Dark." It's like I can't believe it.
But yeah, so also, I know there's a Jaws 5 in Italy too.
Is there
Yeah,
really?
there's a Jaws 5.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Does it have Michael Caine in it?
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Yeah. No. But no, that's another one of those popular series that the Italians went ahead and just made another one for us. You know, it's like we'll make another one.
We'll make another one for you.
Yeah, but I mean, like in 1989, we didn't know that Terminator 2 was a thing.
No.
I mean, we wouldn't have known that was going to be a thing. We didn't know that Alien 3 was going to be a thing.
Right.
So, yeah, have at it. You know,
Yeah.
whatever. Knock yourselves out, Italians.
Sure. And I mean, and that's the thing. Like, this movie is atrocious.
We haven't even talked about the fucking plot yet.
There is nothing really good about this movie. There's a couple competent
but it's
scares.
It's a
competent. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Not necessarily effective.
There was one moment that I can think of where
they're everything as we're watching the movie and the actors are acting.
Yeah,
as the actors are saying the words that they're supposed to say, there's this sense of just like nobody really has much skill here, and nobody has any real sense of timing. Like every line is delivered a little bit off the mark, so it feels very just read. It's almost like at one point I think Geoff, you said that. Did they just film the rehearsals?
Right. It feels because we have an Italian director and an Italian screenwriter with American actors, or not English speaking actors for the most part. They're saying things that they know that they're supposed to say, but they're not being directed. I don't think it's just like there's a guy there to say, action and cut.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of the line readings just feel like that first time you read a line, you're just getting it out of your system. And then you come back for the second and third and fourth and subsequent
you haven't
takes.
really run it very many times with your actors.
There's no chemistry between anybody.
No, not at all. Except the black chick.
Oh yeah, Greta.
Greta is the actress's name.
She's also in Demons.
Yeah, she's in Demons. She's kind of a kooky lady. She is tremendous in this.
Oh, she came prepared. Like,
and she dies like 30 minutes in. It's like, oh, you're going to kill the only character in this movie that the actor is actually delivering a good performance. It's like, are you shitting me? Like when she goes, it's devastating because the whole soul of this movie dies at that point. If it had a soul to begin with.
I don't think it had. It was some sort of Frankenstein monster.
But there's a scene early in the movie where she's introduced as the character, and it's in the locker room of the Marines, which are called the Megaforce.
The Megaforce.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, which, by the way, stay tuned, end of this month, Megaforce episode.
Megaforce episode, yeah. But she's kind of like, if you remember the movie Aliens, she's kind of a combination of the drill sergeant with the scar-chomping drill sergeant. She's a little bit also Hudson, the Bill Paxton character, and she's a lot Vasquez. So they almost took those three characters and they melded them into one, and then they also paired her with the Drake character from Aliens and a little bit of Hudson too, and her compatriot, and he ends up turning into like this surfer dude with these blonde hair and like sunglasses, and those two are pals. And they come in together, and they're in the locker room. They're like, yeah, man. Oh, I'm glad somebody's got my back, And they're like giving each other like bro arms and stuff. But it's hilarious because she comes into this locker room and she breaks everybody down. She's got shit to say about everybody on this team, and she is the ultimate badass, and it's fucking hilarious. Like, that scene just is worth this movie, worth having this movie in my collection because it makes me laugh so much. And then it doesn't really get any better.
All right, my man came.
Now who could that be? Yo, Coster, what's going on?
No, but there are things as a bad movie fan that I found fucking fantastic.
Oh yes.
All right. So we kind of started with the elevator pitch of this movie. Takes place in Venom. In Venice, sometime in the nebulous future.
Sure.
They said Venice before the year 2000 started spotting these issues. Then it died. Right.
Dead City.
So now you have evil corporation who owns this city or owns a lot of property in the city, doing tests, doing stuff.
Yeah.
So there's some commotion going on down in the sewers. So they got to go send some people in to figure out what's going on. And that's the alien
some
part.
scientists go missing. There's some crazy stuff that happens.
There's a guy who stares at the security camera and is like, "They're coming! They're coming!"
Yeah.
Turn around, look back at the camera. They're coming. It's like it's just really bad.
Yeah.
And so they send people down there to try to suss out what happened. They find out that the company that is in charge of everything, the Tubular Corporation, which is hilarious because what we really kind of learn about them is that they make sewer tubes.
Yeah.
So they're calling themselves Tubular.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. I wish the surfer guy stuck around long enough
Tubular,
to say,
yeah.
But
they missed an opportunity there.
Oh, the only one they missed.
That's the only one
That's
they missed.
the only one they missed. So if they had done that, the movie would have been
perfect. 4 stars.
4 stars. Check it out. No, anyway, so they find out it's like, okay, well, they've learned how to graft cybernetic material onto organic material, which becomes nothing.
There's this huge vomit of scientific exposition at one point
by the most wooden person ever.
Yeah,
spoiler alert, he's a robot.
Yeah, he's a robot. You find out that he's a cyborg, and he's talking about cyborg human genetics, and they've done it. They've finally done it.
Yay.
And it's kind of like, all right, whatever, tuning out. This makes no sense.
It's incredible. Ingenious. What bastards. They've done it. They've done it.
What is it, Fuller?
It's practically DNA. No, it's more like an enzyme that's similar to DNA, completely redesigned by computer. A masterpiece. A masterpiece of genetic engineering. Cybernetics applied to molecular biology.
What have you found, Fuller?
Nothing like this has ever existed before. It's not alive, that is. It's not alive until it finds something to live in, something to reprogram on the basis of its own genetic program. A chromosome databank. It's like a floppy disk. You insert it into the right computer and it literally brings its program to life.
What computer?
Us. Us, we're the computer.
You mean this, whatever it is, can reprogram any form of life and transfer it into something completely different?
Exactly. It's incredible, but someone in this laboratory invented something new. An agent that can be transmitted on contact with the oxygen in the air, even in minute quantities, is capable of modifying any genetic code, of transforming the cells into
that thing that killed Price in the tunnels.
Are you saying that it only has to be inhaled to be assimilated?
I think so.
That means that we might even be breathing it right now.
Okay, apparently there's some mutation of humans and machines that form swamp monsters that is transmutable through the air. You can breathe it, and you could become a swamp monster too. because they
but
need
they
a
never
host,
played with that.
But they never
with
really
any-
show it.
They never show.
But they do. But they do show that they need hosts, just like in Aliens. And they do
Yeah,
it,
because they're not alive until they have a host.
right, and they do the whole thing too with like the webbing stuff that you see in Aliens, and the guy who's like, kill me. You know, it's like
Right.
they do the whole thing. But that moment where they kind of spout all of this information about the monsters and how you become them, our surfer guy has, I think, the line of the movie.
Hey guys, I don't get it. You mean we're gonna turn into something weird?
And it's like, well, thanks for boiling that down for
Right,
us.
yeah. It's like all of this technological bullshit has been boiled down to we're gonna turn into
It's something weird. It's a rare moment of self-awareness in this movie.
You're giving this movie a lot of credit.
Yes, I am.
So it's like, oh, okay. They go a little bit deeper because now computer terminal tells them they have to go to this other place.
To another computer terminal.
To another computer terminal to get the rest of the plot.
They have to go to the Tubular Corporation, their computer terminal.
Their computer terminal will then tell them the rest of the movie.
It's like a fucking scavenger hunt.
It is. It really
Yeah.
is. And so they finally so all these Marine people die.
Yeah, a lot of them die.
They're just fodder. So they get to the Tubular Corporation. That's when they find out that Robot Man is indeed Robot Man.
Yeah.
And that his basically, I don't know. It's like they're like they have to find something for something, and then they're like,
I don't even.
The company's going to come out smelling like a rose as always.
As always.
As always, he says. Actually, he says.
As always.
The Tubular Corporation will come out unscathed.
As
usual.
usual. Yeah. So basically, what the scam is.
Please explain it to me because I don't fucking know.
They get to the Tubular Corporation, and the little girl that they find in the air ducts, because of course it's fucking aliens. They find Newt. She is the daughter of the scientist who has been doing these experiments, which the Tubular Corporation is super excited to find out about. But the other people are not in. They're sort of in the dark about what all is going on here, and
Are they in the shocking dark?
They're in the shocking dark, and they feel like they need to go to the Tubular Corporation and get more information. But the Tubular Cyborg isn't so happy about that, but they go anyway. So they get to the Tubular Corporation, and it's fucking hilarious. The little girl somehow, who fuck knows how, knows the password, punches it into this terminal, and it creates this video feed of this sort of like PR marketing chick. She's this blonde middle-aged woman.
And her head is slightly turned when she talks.
Yeah,
She talks out of the side of her mouth with her head kind of turned 45 degrees.
And she's clearly reading from a cue card.
Oh my God.
Her,
because at one point in time you can tell when they switch the cue card because she
pauses. Yeah.
In
yeah.
the middle of a sentence.
Yeah, it's this really awkward middle of sentence pause. Oh my God. It's like, come on, just take fucking 10 minutes and learn this line. But no. But she's reading and she's telling everything you need to know about the Tubular Corporation and why they're evil. But she's telling it from the standpoint of like rah corporate propaganda. But essentially what's happened is the Tubular Corporation has caused all of this environmental hazard in Venice. What this has done is driven property prices down. Everyone has moved away. The Tubular Corporation has moved in and bought all of the property. They bought all of the museums and the art that was left behind and all of this stuff, right? Because of the catastrophe. And now that they're going to clean it all up, supposedly, and then resell everything they bought at basement prices at like 70. They specifically said a 70% increase,
right.
Which is so hilarious. Like, why not 100?
Yeah. Whatever it was
fucking
worth the gamble.
So their whole scam is to go in and fuck cities up environmentally, make everybody move, buy all the property, clean everything up, and then sell it back to people. Which I guess.
I mean, that's evil, I guess. I mean.
And the fact that you learn this in a recording
Right.
Of like a message from one person to who. It's like
it was the shareholders. It was
yeah,
to the
it was a shareholders
it was,
message. Yeah,
right,
memo.
because it was
like a memo.
It was a memo, but also
An
like
update.
kind of yes, it was a memo to keep people from selling stock. I thought.
Yeah,
like it was
fair.
this is what we're doing. So stick around because
Yeah.
we promise you're gonna get rich.
It's gonna be good. It's pretty fucking silly.
It is, but I mean, I guess it's like okay. We have a greed motivator now. Okay, fine. All right, fine. Whatever. I mean, evil business does evil things.
And at this point in time, our corporate shill, who we don't know is a cyborg yet, but we know is a cyborg, is basically like giving everyone the shifty eyes.
Oh yeah, and he's so like dull, and
But
he's like, but then okay, so then at that point in time he starts killing people, right? And so he's like, so like the first guy, there's only like 2 guys left. The girl, the Ellen Ripley character, whose name is Sarah, which I don't know why I was struggling with that because it got screamed many, many times. And then there's Cyborg Man. And so they get to the headquarters and they learn about what's going on. And so Cyborg Man kills the Marine people that came with them. And then at that point in time reveals that he is indeed Cyborg Man. And Sarah says,
Why didn't you tell us before?
to which he responds,
Because I was waiting for exactly the right time. That is to say, now.
I was waiting for the perfect time, which is to say, now.
one could say that line is overwritten. That you only needed that first part. You know? Oh my god, it's so bad. And he's like, he kind of has like a Russian accent.
Well, it's like earlier in the movie too when you've got the scene from Aliens where they've got the motion sensor and they're coming into the room, but they don't see them. It's like, well, they should be right on top of us, but they're really coming into the ceiling, right? That whole scene. There's a guy at one point who says something along the lines of, "No, this can't be possible. This room is considered to be impenetrable."
Right. Which is like what? Considered by whom? It's like,
Considered to be. So
Right.
it's like another overwritten line. It's almost like there's something to do with the Italian English translation there.
yeah.
Like who says something like that? Especially in like a really intense moment.
Right.
This room is considered to be impenetrable.
You either say, I thought this room was impenetrable, or this room is impenetrable.
Right. Right.
The consider part now is kind of moot.
Yeah.
You know, it's like either, yeah, fuck. Another thing I love about this
But
movie.
most experts agree, Jeff, that this room is impenetrable.
So I guess it's considered to be.
It's considered.
It is. You know, it is a 5-star AA rating impenetrable. Therefore, it is considered to be impenetrable.
Yes.
That's how the line could have gone.
Right.
I guess we're glad that we don't have that line, but I think we just wrote a better line. So another thing, I made some notes here. At one point in time, I wasn't sure which character was a robot because they were all so fucking
Yes,
wooden.
that was a pretty funny moment. It's like Jeff, I think was pretty much tipped off that somebody is a cyborg.
The fucking cover
Yeah.
tells me that somebody's a goddamn cyborg.
And there's also in the opening credits, it mentions cyborg effects, which is wow, way to fucking tip your hand, right?
Yeah, just say special effects by.
Because they really do keep it secret. It is supposed to be a shock in dark when they reveal that this guy is a cyborg. But yeah, Jeff is like, I know there's a cyborg, but I'm having a really difficult time determining which one of them is.
My cyborg radar was going nuts because everybody was the only one I knew was not. The only 2 people I knew who were not robots was the black chick
Yeah.
and the little girl who kept screaming and emoting all over the place.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she emoted way too much to be a robot.
She was like, imagine Newt in Aliens and how kind of like sweet and how you wanted to protect her. Imagine
A little older,
really annoying, and that you would prefer if she just died. That's how I feel about the girl in Shocking Dark.
which is to say, not well.
Yeah. She's incredibly annoying. She spends the entire movie clinging to Sarah, aka Ellen Ripley's arm, with the furrowed brow and this like slack jaw. And when she's not clinging to Sarah, she's screaming for Sarah.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Another thing that I like is control room people.
Yeah.
I love science fiction movies where there's a control room of people who are kind of only sort of connected to plot.
Yeah.
They're just there to kind of get the info of what's going on.
Or
I
to drive specific needs within the plot.
Right. It's like, hey, everybody, what's going on down there? Thanks for telling somebody, or thanks for being there because I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And I needed somebody to explain it.
Checkpoint.
Yeah. Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But
This
these
movie
guys-
is lousy with that.
Yeah, and there are times where it's like somebody gets on the phone to somebody or gets onto the walkie-talkie or whatever, and the guy says like, "So what's going on?" And then you hear, burr, 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 burr,
Yeah.
and the guy's like, "All right, that sounds great. Thanks for letting me know."
Yeah.
And
So-
it's like, but what happened?
Yeah, but it's actually, it's not even like checkpoint. It's not even like helping the audience. It's worthless. It's filler.
There's one point
It's
where
just letting you know that these things are happening, but you don't know what's happening. Really, honestly, it's like we need to pad this fucking movie out.
it's like we need this to hit 89.30
Yeah.
or better.
Yeah.
And it's like, shit, we're at 87.
Yep.
All right, so let's add in a scene
We
of
need
control room
yep.
man
Another control room.
Walking up to a computer monitor with a woman whose face could grate cheese. It was so fucking rigid.
Yeah, he just stands behind her.
And like looks over her shoulder at something that she does, and then she looks up and like kind of shakes her head no, and then he's like and then it's over.
End scene.
End scene. Yeah, you really knocked that one out of the park.
It was absolutely meaningless.
So I always love scenes like that because it's like, wow, okay, I guess these things are here for some reason.
I'm glad we saw that interaction. It was really
Right.
lends to the purpose of this film.
I also like that the black lady at one point in time goes up to a guy who's like just like fucking cleaning his gun or whatever, and she's like,
If I would have known wops were coming along, I would have brought my anti-grease spray.
it's like, whoa,
She's super racist
Yeah.
about Italians.
in an Italian movie.
Yeah. Again, she's the best part of this movie.
Yeah,
fucking Christ, if she could have just been the centerpiece of the whole movie, it might actually be a cult classic.
Right. when the captain of the squad comes in, it's like, what's going on here? After there was like a little bit of kerfuffle over being called a greasy wop. The surfer guy's like, it's just a small case of the racial tension. Love that. Checkpoint.
A
Check
small
mark.
case of racial tension.
I've already mentioned the Tubular Corporation. That's fantastic. I have a little problem with the science of this movie.
a little problem.
Yeah, a little problem. So I'm not scientist, but so first of all, seaweed is killing the oxygen. I just simply wrote, no, it cannot. Seaweed's a plant. It breathes carbon dioxide and exhales oxygen. It creates oxygen. It is the very opposite. There's no science here to tell me otherwise. Like, I feel I hate to be like the Neil deGrasse Tyson of this movie here and like explaining why this movie is wrong.
Explaining like photosynthesis.
Right.
Yeah.
But this movie is loaded with a bunch of suspect science. That's the number one thing. So, okay, explain why. You have this whole preamble to explain that it's happening. One more sentence could say that a new form of toxic algae is reversing photosynthesis.
Right.
Done.
Sure.
Boom.
All right, cool.
I'm in.
I'll go with that.
I buy it. Whatever. It's like, this is science fiction, so I buy it. Whatever. Boom. Done. Got it. Right? Nope. The sea creatures, the monsters. Okay, so they kind of have a fishy face.
What the fuck are they?
But I didn't see the rest of their body. They have creature from the Black Lagoon hands.
Yeah. Yep.
Fish faces.
They're kind of like Creature
but
from
I
the
don't know
Black
what
Lagoon meets Swamp Thing, sort of like
Meets
Shape of Water.
humanoids from the deep. They kind of
Yeah.
have that in there.
I mean-
It feels like they may have bought these costumes from Roger Corman.
They're kind of slimy green
yeah.
things. Yeah.
Also, the one thing that looks like it has a bunch of hot dogs in its mouth. That's a little bit of a look of that sea creature too. So then there's they explain it's like any one of us could be infected because it's transmutable by air, which
right.
It's like, okay, at that point in time, none of anybody can be there. That doesn't make any sense.
And then, but then there's a whole thing.
I
with
kept
like,
waiting for that to pay off at the end, like as a shocking dark ending.
Ooh.
It's like, oh, little girl turns into monster, kill Sarah.
But then you
or
see
vice
them
versa.
get captured and cocooned, like in Aliens. It's like, well, what's the point of that? Like, you see the guy at the beginning who is not himself. He's deranged and he's trying to kill
a little
people.
green and
so maybe he's like turning into one of these monsters. There is nothing in this movie that gives you any indication of the rules of rules.
If you're going to make a science fiction movie, I'm just going to say this right out of the gate. If you're going to make a science fiction movie, I don't care if it's Terminator 2, Shocking Dark, Aliens, or Jurassic World. By the way, another movie that I recently saw this summer that does not explain what the rules are of things.
I mean, Aliens is a perfect example. We understand the rules. We understand how you become, like what their motivations are. They lay eggs. Those eggs hatch. Those facehuggers attach to a host. They implant you. You gestate an alien that bursts out of you that
kills you.
That kills you. That is now
You
a
don't
perfect
become,
organism.
You are not part alien.
Right.
You are simply the host for the parasite.
Right. This movie just was like, I don't know what the fuck it was trying to do. It had no idea of what its monster was, and then when it tried to explain it devolved into just a bunch of fucking jargon.
Well, what happened is it tried to like explain itself, but instead it like shit its pants, rolled into the fetal position, and started sucking its own thumb.
Yeah.
That's what happened. I mean, it's like we don't know. Yeah, and it's like it's.
We just hope you like things you recognize.
Just keep shoving that popcorn in your fucking face.
Yeah.
So this is. Oh, I remember the other thing I was going to say. The other thing I fucking love in these types of movies, it's always in cheap movies, particularly if they have access to these things. But a lot of Italian movies do this. One of my all-time favorite bad movies has an endless supply of this.
What movie?
Space Mutiny.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Railing deaths.
Yeah.
People being tossed over railings, being thrown off of catwalks.
So there's a moment in this movie where I think Geoff and I were affected by some of that seaweed algae because we were gasping for oxygen because it's so funny.
It's not just railing deaths. Let me add a piece to that because that will help explain this.
Oh my god!
It's dummies being tossed over railings.
Yes. So this happens a lot in this movie.
Oh,
There's
boy.
like 4 or 5 dummy railing deaths where the monster tosses a person
pushes a
or
guy,
pushes a. Oh yeah, the one where he like barely backhanded him.
Yeah,
and then he fell tumbling over the railing. Oh, so good. Yeah.
And then it cuts to the actual falling shot,
Yeah.
which is just like a stiff dummy with its arms flat. Like,
Yeah, it's already like dead weight.
Yeah.
Right. and then the shot of it of the person like on the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you at least get to see the impact of the dummy, and then it cuts to the person
Directly to the person on the ground.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. So at one point, so Robot Man has been outed.
I can't. I'm like having trouble containing myself.
Now, so now it's a little bit of Terminator, and actually a little bit of Terminator 2, because now Sarah, oh my God, Sarah Connor.
She's a little bit.
Did I just figure that shit out?
She's a little bit Sarah Connor. Yeah. Oh, fucking A. Her name is Sarah. Wow.
Boy, we just blew the lid off of this movie.
God.
You can't fool us, Bruno Mattei.
Oh, Bruno. You
He's
tricked
dead, right?
us. We thought she was Ellen Ripley. But
she's
no,
really Sarah
she
Connor.
was really Sarah Connor.
So she's cruising around this factory, this sewer factory, this sewer shitball of a movie.
This whole movie takes place in some sort of sewage facility.
This movie is literally shit.
And yes, there was a moment Geoff and I were watching this. It's like, wow, this is basically the perfect place to make this movie. It is apropos that this movie takes place in a sewage facility.
Right.
It is actual garbage being shot at a place where they process garbage.
So she's now cruising around with the little girl, and the little girl, she's like a 15-year-old girl.
Yeah, she's like pubescent, tween.
I mean, like I'm sure the actress was like, I don't know, 24, but looked like she was like 14. So it's like, we'll just make her scream constantly. That's what 14-year-old girls do.
That's what she did. She screamed constantly.
So, Sarah's protecting her, being chased by Robot Man. Got the shotgun now.
Yeah.
Like Terminator 2.
Dum-dum-dum-dum. Dum-dum-dum-dum.
So, Robot Man jumps out, like, ha, I'm here. Ha-ha.
I gotcha.
And
end of the line. He said that like 2 or 3 times. This is the end of the line.
This is where you die because I kill you now, end of the line. That's probably what the line
is.
As it were. This is where I shall kill you because, as you know, I am Death Machine and want to kill you. So anyway, so he jumps out, like, ha! And she, like, shoots him, which causes him to tumble backwards over a railing. And like, fuck yeah, railing death. The dummy careens towards the floor, hits another railing, which sends its fucking head to the moon.
It's phenomenal. You watch this, and you can clearly see the head of this dummy go just rocket in the opposite direction. And we're just like, whoa! The fucking head just got knocked right off of that dummy's block. But then, of course,
smacks the
he
ground.
smashed to the ground, and he still
has
his head. So it's like, no, he doesn't. My brain told me that his head got separated from his body.
We watched that shit twice to make sure. And so that is either an editor who's like, fuck this, I'm keeping it in, that's too good. Or a director who just doesn't give a fuck.
Just doesn't care. Yeah.
I think it's both.
They shot it. They printed it. They looked at it at the dailies, maybe if they did dailies, and they were like, it's too fucking late now.
Yeah. That was our last dummy. We used up our budget of dummies.
Oh, God, it's so good.
Oh, railing deaths are literally the best.
It's amazing. I mean, that head hits the railing, and it's like an immediate careen right off of it in the opposite
direction. And as
direction.
you said, it like fucking like breaks the laws of physics too, because
it does. It shouldn't
not
move that quickly in the opposite direction.
It was like there was a fucking launcher in the shoulders. Because like, okay, so it hits so it's coming down at like, okay, if we're looking at it, we're like, okay, it's coming down at like a 45-degree angle or whatever, right? And then it hits that, and that head does 2 things. One, it goes off in like a 135-degree angle and faster than the rest of the body is. So it's like launched. It fucking launched that fucking knocked the block off that guy. Oh my God, it was great. So the movie, let's talk about the end here.
Yes.
Because the movie takes, okay, as I said, I suspect this movie takes a pretty hard left turn at some point.
Yep.
You say it takes a couple. I say that it does take two. It goes from Aliens to Terminator.
Yep.
But then the end comes, which is like an absolute overcorrection into a spinning ball of fire.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, holy shit, U-turn. Oh, I'm out of control. Yeah, yeah.
And the movie, again, shits its pants because it's now spinning out of control.
Yep. Oh, my God. So, yeah, the ending. It really, I don't know. I don't know if any of you are going to ever watch this movie. The ending is kind of the reason maybe to watch the movie for some people. It is kind of truly a what the fuck kind of ending. But this whole movie, you're kind of conditioned about post-apocalyptic scenario, some sort of creature that you're fighting. Oh, now there's a cyborg. Okay, we're dealing with that. You never really think at any point in time that there'd be a time travel element to this movie, but there is. It comes at you right at the end of the movie. It's the way Sarah and Samantha, little girl, and Ellen Ripley escape from the exploding facility, which, by the way, does the whole Aliens countdown. It does the whole self-destruct countdown.
Self-destructing
Why
in 4
the
minutes.
fuck would a sewage facility have a self? I guess maybe at this point they're actually at the Tubular Corporation. But why would the Tubular Corporation have a self-destruct mechanism?
Well, they got to blow up all their science research.
It's ludicrous.
I mean, also all evil plans need to be blown up.
But they think they're gonna die.
Like they go into this room, and it's like, we're gonna die here.
Yeah.
And the girl's just like, Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah says, we're going to die here. And Samantha's like, Sarah. It's like, yeah, we're going to die. Yeah. Get ready to die.
Get ready to die because we're going to die. And then marketing lady comes on to the TV.
Yeah, she comes back on the TV.
And she's like, thank you for walking into the tubular time bubble.
Time pod.
Yeah, the tubular time pod. Have a nice day.
She's like, on today's trip, we're going into the past. That's what she fucking says.
And she's like, use this little box thing and go beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop.
And fasten your seatbelts.
Yeah.
You have 10 seconds.
So everything blows up. They wake up in a gutter.
Yeah, in the past.
In the past, before Venice goes to fuck shit.
Yeah.
Which some people would say is like already happened.
Already
Boom!
fuck shit. Ooh.
Fuck you, Venice.
Ooh, present day Venice. Fuck shit.
Yeah. Anyway. And so they wake up and it's like, everything's going to be great. Oh, fuck, the Terminator's here.
Yeah.
And Terminator's like, there was second pod. I took it too.
I took second pod.
It's like, you had the beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, boop.
I have a feeling that
was just like, go fuck yourself. We don't care.
Just go fuck yourself.
Okay. Anyway, Terminator's there.
We have plot to tell. We have things to do.
Things to do, not plot to tell.
Right. So we have things to do. Yes. Right. The Terminator must fight them one more time.
I don't even remember how he dies the second time.
God, I don't remember either.
Fuck. He dies.
Yeah, they defeat him somehow. What the fuck? What do they do? Oh, I remember. It's so fucking stupid. That's why we don't remember. She still has her like time pod controller.
Oh, that's right. She just sends him back.
And she just like throws it at him, and it like short circuits or something.
And it sends him back to the present.
And it says him. We assume it sends him back to the present.
Which
or maybe,
as I said, he's got the control now. He can just come right back.
Or maybe to the Phantom Zone.
Yeah. No.
Who knows? But yeah, he's gone, and then they're like, "Oh, we've got some work to do."
And looking out at the skyline,
looking out at Venice and the healthy water.
I mean, all it's going to sound like is that they're crazy.
Right.
They're going to be in a padded cell in 3 days.
Yeah. And she'll be screaming, "Sarah!"
Yeah. Yeah, but see, back then there wasn't any like Facebook or anything to start posting crazy conspiracy theories on. So they're fucked.
Yeah, you couldn't even prepare people for that shit.
No.
You just had to start talking to people, and they're like, "What?"
Yeah, it's like, what? You're weird.
Yeah,
You're weird.
you're weird. Venice is fine.
What do you mean Terminators?
What do you,
Whatever.
What do you mean seaweed's gonna like destroy the oxygen in the
Yeah,
water?
it's like
that doesn't make any
you
sense.
go to any scientist to say we got problem.
You don't
XYZ.
realize it, but the seaweed is going to fucking cause some problems.
Right, it's going to destroy all the oxygen, and they're going to be like,
That's not how that works. That's not how that works.
They would make the same note I did.
Yeah.
Seaweed killing oxygen? No, it cannot. No,
it cannot.
It cannot do that. This movie's
it's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad.
I
movie.
mean, it's a puzzle.
Yeah.
And it's a puzzle that you want to like unravel and like try to understand.
I recommend this movie to the true nerds.
No, not to the nerds.
I recommend it to the nerds. I feel like I'm the nerd. I'm like the alien
but
nerd,
no, I
the
would
Terminator
say
nerd.
you have to you can't just be generic nerd. You have to like bad movies, and you have to understand the European ripoff movie.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I know plenty of people that we could show this to that we would consider nerds, and they'd throw it out the fucking window in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Well, I want to do that right now.
No, you don't. You want to watch it again?
I'd probably watch it again, yeah.
No, I mean, I agree with you. If you are an absolute James Cameron completist, which...
I don't know if I would even say I'm that. Fucking
But no,
Avatar.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, particularly with, like, Terminator and
Definitely.
Alien.
Definitely.
Then you probably want to watch this, but you have to know that this is a bad movie to begin with. I mean, it's like,
yeah.
I can't recommend watching bad movies to just anybody. Like,
No.
I need to know that they like some schlock.
I think you have to understand what this movie is before you watch it. And if you understand what it is and you think that sounds interesting, then I don't think you should hesitate to watch it, because it is very specifically an Italian knockoff of specific U.S. action films, and it's really fucking terrible.
But I will say that despite as bad as it was, I had a load of fun watching it.
I did too.
It's a fun movie to watch because you're just sitting there thinking, why, what, where,
There was a moment. I think what was the moment when the time travel aspect came on screen, and I looked over at Geoff, and Geoff had his hands on the sides of his face, like Macaulay Culkin Home Alone, like
Yeah.
Oh my God, what?
Yeah, it's like just cram that in too.
And that kind of made the whole thing for me.
Yeah.
Like to see that it could get that kind of shocking dark out of Geoff. Like that.
I have seen some shit, man. I have seen some shit.
I've seen some shit.
And
so I think this is one of those ones that you can kind of discover on your own first, and then based on your experience with it, you know a buddy or two who's going to be like, yeah, they're gonna want to see this, and you can show it to them and kind of knock their socks off with how fucking atrocious it is.
yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Like, you got to get a load of this. But one thing that I did say was that it also feels like if you're at a party and somebody's just got something on TV and it's just that weird fucking thing in the background that you just kind of come in and out of, watching this movie intently has that same feeling where you kind of just like, you're in and out of the movie because the movie can't explain itself.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, it just feels like background noise at some point.
Yeah.
And it's so bizarre, and you're constantly trying to understand what the movie is trying to do. And that makes it a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the type of stuff that it's like we like to talk about, we like to experience, we like to I like to write about and stuff like that. But if you're not that type of person, I can't recommend this.
No. Well, I could see this movie playing a midnight showing with people who know what they're getting into and enjoying it immensely, but not in the same way that I could see people going to a midnight showing of The Room,
Right.
and half the theater never having seen it before. The half the theater that had never seen Shocking Dark before, and not really knowing what they're getting into, might honestly be pretty upset.
Well, it depends. I guess it depends on your sensibilities as far as what you like. I mean, do you like bad movies?
There is maybe enough there, connective tissue to scenes that you will remember, and also just some really kind of funny lines and some just general ineptitude within the delivery, the performances, and the direction. That it could, if you know you're going to see a bad movie, that you might really, really like it. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think there's. I don't have anything else to add. I mean, it's an experience. Someday I'll probably watch. My life will be continuously full of Italian horror and sci-fi movies like this. There's a billion out there.
Oh, there's yeah.
And there are.
I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface of it all.
Right. This isn't Lucio Fulci or Dario Argento. They are on a whole different level. This is Bruno Mattei, and
honestly, it's bottom of the barrel.
it is.
Yeah.
They're still. There are other. Joe D'Amato is often kind of listed as being down at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
With Bruno Mattei, there's. There's a few other guys that make various ranges of shitty science fiction horror type stuff, but it's so bonker. It's just like I imagine they filmed for about 10 days, and they didn't know what their script was until that morning.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, we're going to film this scene. And the people are looking at it for the very first time. And it's like, okay, whatever. I'm cashing that check. And it's like, because it feels like this
I can't imagine many people, anybody made much money making this movie.
No, but they're paying rent, or
Yeah.
whatever. They're paying rent on their crappy 1-bedroom apartment,
Fair.
But, it's like this movie is like 4 different movies in one. And it's only 89 minutes. So... it's like, it's obvious that they worked with different versions of the script throughout the entire, 3 hours of filming or whatever, but anyway.
Everything. Yeah. They shot chronologically, 1 take, 2 takes, 3-hour shoot, done.
Yeah. Done. Shove it onto the videotape and put it out in the theaters.
Yeah, maybe they actually shot it all in real time, and they took an hour and a half to sort of kind of edit it, add the musical cues, and they were done.
Yeah. Yeah.
All in all, 3 hours work. Cool.
Yeah, we're in. We're good. We're making all the monies. So, anything else you want to add to Shocking Dark?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, next week there is a little bit of an anniversary of sorts. It's the 32nd birthday of a movie that's kind of big in our generation. Transformers the movie.
Yes, Transformers the movie.
August 8th, 1986 changed a lot of little boys' lives, and we learned that sometimes our heroes die.
Oh, I know.
So we're going to talk about a billion people have talked about it already on YouTube, and people who probably a lot of people who are far nerdier than we are.
The power.
But we thought, sure, let's.
It's been a long time since I've seen this.
It's interesting because I think this is going to be more of a discussion of other nostalgic things for us, particularly as a pertains to Transformers as a whole, because I think I don't know. I think that we're old enough now to understand, what's good, what wasn't, what's and kind of reconcile our feelings about stuff that we grew up on and kind of digested on a steady daily basis. So we're going to talk about that next week. We've got some more movies, just kind of random movies that are going to be out there in August. We're going to right in the middle of August, we are going to release an episode about The Meg.
Yeah.
Giant sharks and Jason Statham. God damn it, Jason Statham better punch a fucking shark in the face.
He's gonna too, right? He's gonna.
He's gotta.
I hope he puts a stick of dynamite and lights it in a shark's mouth, closes the shark's mouth, and then punches the shark, then dives away, and the shark explodes.
Will that happen? I will not doubt that something like that will. That shark is gonna explode.
It's gonna explode.
There's no way. I mean, like, how do you get rid of Meg?
You can't kill a shark that big without exploding.
Right. Megalodons don't have. I mean, they are considered to be invulnerable.
Yeah.
So
they're like all exoskeleton.
I mean, they're all something. They're all gigantic shark.
Yeah, like dino sharks.
Yeah, so you gotta like blow them up. I feel like.
I think so too.
I mean,
so we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But
tell us, how do you think Jason Statham will kill the megalodon? I want to know.
I still think it's going to be a punch right to the face.
I hope so.
Like
knocks him right out.
Knockout.
He'll do like
and then like
the Tweety Bird.
Yeah, and then he'll like wake up and it's like, oh, you're cool. You can beat me up. I'll be your buddy. And then they go on road adventures.
They're like the shark is in the passenger seat of like the muscle car.
Right.
They're like going on
it's
adventures.
Like his head sticking out of the sunroof.
Yeah. He's like Jabberjaws.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Starts talking like Curly from the Three Stooges. Right. Yeah.
This is, dude, Hollywood.
Fucking Hollywood. Really? Right?
I mean, at the very least, I expect a call from Atlanta, Georgia, from the Adult Swim guys.
Yeah.
We got some ideas, man.
We do. Come at us.
So, but yeah. So, stay tuned for some interesting stuff coming up. We've already kind of teased the Mega Force, which comes at the end of this month.
Yep.
Yeah. So, go to our website, filmseizure.com.
Hit us on the Twitters, the Facebooks, the Instagrams.
All of that is at Film Seizure. And until next time, everybody, I'm Geoff Arbuckle.
I'm Jason Oliver, and you have been listening to Film Seizure.
The dummy careens towards the floor, hits another railing, which sends its fucking head to the moon.
It's phenomenal. You watch this, and you can clearly see the head of this dummy go just rocket in the opposite direction. And we're just like, whoa! The fucking head just got knocked right off of that dummy's block. But then, of course,
smacks the
he
ground.
smashed to the ground, and he still has his head. So it's like, no, he doesn't. My brain told me that his head got separated from his body.